Okay, let's go to the menu for today. So for vocabulary, we will learn, or we'll study these 5 words: teach, learn, study, know, find out. Okay, we'll find out what the difference between them. Yeah, first between teach, learn, and study, and know and find out. So there are 2 groups of words there that we will use. After that, we will move on to grammar. We will learn when we use past simple tense and when we use present perfect tense. And after that, at the end of the session, we will talk about prepositions in describing line graph. What prepositions that we use with a certain time. Okay. Now let's go on to the first one. The difference between teach, learn, or study. These words cause confusion to some of my students, especially the last 2, learn and study. When do we use learn? When do we use study? Okay, for teach means to give lessons to students in school, college, university, etc. To have somebody learn something by giving information. So when you teach, you give information. Okay, I think that's very clear. Now let's see the difference between study and learn. Remember, when you want to expand your vocabulary, when you want to learn about new vocabs, I always encourage you, I always ask you to use the dictionary. Make friend with the dictionary, and not just any dictionary. It has to be a monolingual dictionary, because in a monolingual dictionary you will get more than just the translation. You will get the context. You will get how do we use that word in a sentence. How we use that word in a sentence. Okay, study and learn. Study means to spend time learning about a subject by reading, going to college, etc. Okay, while learn means to gain knowledge or skill by studying. So studying is part of learning actually. You use it with language, skill, trade. Okay, these are how we use it: study something, study for something, study something, add. Alright, so, and the next vocabulary that I want you to look at are know and find out. These 2 words, many people get confused. When do we use know? When do we use find out? Especially when we write in IELTS writing tasks. So, know, first of all, it's never used in a progressive tenses. So it's a stative verb. That's why we never use it in a progressive tenses. Progressive mean we usually use the terms continuous as well. Continuous or progressive. So we cannot say I'm knowing, or I was knowing. So we always use know or knew or known. Know means have information. That's simple, very plain. Okay, when you have information, you know it. When you have information about something, it means that you know about something. You know that something. Okay, for example, when you say I know statistics, So you have information about statistics. What about find out? Find out, as you see here, we have two meanings. The first one is we use it like this: find somebody out. But the one that we focus today is the first meaning, yeah? To get some information about something. So know means you have the information. We don't talk about how you get it. Well, find out, we talk about how you not how you get, but it means that to get some information, the process of knowing. Alright, we call it find out. Okay. Yeah, and still the best way to learn is directly from the dictionary, as I said before. Now let's take a look at some exercises. Okay, in this one there are 5 numbers there, 5 questions, 5 statements to be exact. This advertisement proves what comedians have known for years. Yeah, we talk about having the information here for years. Number 2, over the past half century, scientists have over the past half century, scientists have blah 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 much about baby talk. Have known much? No, yeah. I think this one is about the scientists knowing about the baby talk. So they're looking for the information, doing some studies, doing some researches. So it should be found out. Sorry. Number 3, children don't blah 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 to walk is a skill, so we use learn. How to chat like an adult, that's also a skill, we use learning, not knowing. It's also a gradual process. There's a process involved there. Yet we still don't understand this critical period. Or no. No means have the information. We don't have the information until today. Yeah? Or no. So that's the answer. Next, let's talk about grammar. Present perfect versus past simple. When we talk about tenses, we talk about time. Remember that. Yeah. So present perfect and past simple. Sometimes, not sometimes, many times my students get confused on using them. When to use present perfect and when to use past simple. What's the difference? Okay, to understand about tenses, always understand that tenses has two what do we say it? Yeah, it is composed of two things. Yeah, the aspect and the time. There are 3 times that we know: past, present, and future. The aspect we have continuous, perfect, perfect continuous, and simple, of course. Aspect, the perfect aspect, they always have this formula. They always have this pattern: have plus past participle. The simple always use verb. Remember, yeah, when we use tenses, we only talk about the verb. Subject can change the verb, of course, yeah, but mainly the one that that is changed to differentiate one tense to another tenses is the verb. Okay, so here From the perfect aspect, we have plus past participle, and because it's present perfect, we know that in the present time we use present verb. Present verb, we have infinitive and infinitive s. That's why for present perfect we have this formula: have plus past participle and has plus past participle. Okay. Now, what are the function of each of them? We can look at these examples. I found out where the treasure is. Look at the first one, yeah, of each. I found out where the treasure is, and I found out its whereabouts last week. When we talk about present perfect, let's N is now, yeah. When we talk about present perfect, for present perfect, we can talk about something that has already happened. However, we talk about it in how it relates to the present, how it affects the present. For example, when you say I've eaten, you want to mention that you're still full and you don't want to eat now because you've eaten. Maybe you ate an hour ago or 2 hours ago or 3 hours ago. It doesn't matter. The time does not matter when we use present perfect. Now, when we mention the time, when we mention the time in the sentence, we will use past simple. Okay, I found out its whereabouts last week. Or the second one, she has known about it for a long time. Yeah, we talk about it for a long time. So this is N. This is the first time I know about it, and it's been for a long time until today. The time is still on the process. It's still progressing. The second one, your late Uncle John also knew about it. Now, why do I use past simple here? Because I talk about your late uncle. When we talk about someone that has already passed away, we always use past simple. Okay, use present perfect simple for situation or states which started in the past and are still continuing now. Things which happened in the past but no time is given and they have a result in the present. Yeah, the result, the effect, you can still feel it at the present. We use past simple for action or events in the past where the time you refer to is clear. Series or past actions or events which happened one after the other, and things which were clearly finished in the past. Okay, just like the second example for the present perfect here. She has known about it for a long time, so it's still in the process. It's not finished yet. We use present perfect. Okay, now let's use it in practice. In the last few decades, okay, I like it. Many teachers, they don't teach the students that tenses is about time. They're only giving the formula that, for example, whenever you find always, use simple present. Whenever you find in, on, at with time, and the time is in the past, use simple past. No, it doesn't go that way, actually. Yeah. Remember, tenses is always about time. and time is a context. So in the last few decades, it means that the event started few decades ago. Because it's in the last few decades, it means that until now it's still occurring, it's still happening. Because of that, we use present perfect. Okay, now we can compare it with number 2. In 1999, it's very clear. In 1999, today, now we are in 2021. So obviously it finished in the past. That's why we can use simple past. I blah 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 responsible for taking care of myself since I was 8 years old. Okay, since 8 years old. So this is the point when I was 8 years old, because I said since, so we talk about duration. Yeah, then we can only use present perfect. Obesity has become a global problem. When we say has become a global problem, it means that most likely at the present it's still a problem. But when we said became a global problem, so now it's no longer a global problem. Get it? Number 5. Sometimes people who have been on a diet eat even more afterwards than they blah 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 before. That's the key word. I've been on a diet, but I'm talking about the event before I started my diet. So I talk about something in the past. Okay, one day. Okay, one day. I think it refers to an exact time in the past. Of course, we use past tense. The company was shut down. All right. Okay, now let's go on to the preposition. Okay, for preposition, remember that for months, years, century, we always use in, never use on, at, by. Yeah, always use in. In August, in 2011. For periods of time, look at the pairs and never mix them together. Yeah, between, we always use between with and, so you cannot say between with to. When we have to, we always use from to, between, and. Okay, and we can also use over, like this one, over a 20-year period. During, with a word or phrase that represent the period of time. What's the difference? Over a 20-year period means the whole 20 years. During the summer holidays, it doesn't mean that it's during the whole summer holidays. Okay, look at the notes here. Faisal stayed at the hotel for 2 weeks during the summer. Summer takes 3 months, but it's only 2 weeks. We use during. But when we use over, we talk about the whole time mentioned. Alright, let's try it. Here, we talk about time, exact time, year. Yeah, we use in. And now we have to. So it is impossible to use over. We use from. Number 3, there is no evidence that a rise of petrol prices. Okay. Leads to less traffic. What do you think? Is there any mistakes? sorry, there's no evidence that a rise of petrol prices leads to less traffic. Look at the preposition of. When do we use of? Oh, sorry, I missed this one, yeah? Okay. When we talk about trends, when we talk about trends, we use these prepositions as well. We use noun with in to say what has changed. A rise in, not with of, yeah? Because when we use of, we talk about how much. An increase of 3%. In this one, we talk about the petrol prices. So it's what has changed. Yeah, the first one, the rise in petrol prices. So we have noun from to, very obvious, yeah. And we use verb by. Also, we talk about the change, fell by. We use at when to express a level. Peaked at 11%. So this is 11%. This is peaked at 11%. But when we say, for example, okay, fell by 3,000. Fell by 3,000 will look like this. For example, it's from 4,000 and the end number is 1,000. Fell by 3,000. Okay, we use verb with to when we say the level something reached. Fell by 3,000, from 4,000 to 1,000. When we say fell to 3,000, let's say it's 4,000, the end number will be 3,000. This is fell to 3,000. Alright, let's continue. Number 4, the number of people Okay, number 4, here we talked about the level, so we don't use to, we use at. Spending on teachers' salaries, we talk about the number. Do we use on? No. Yeah, when we talk about the number, we can use of, or we can use to. But because we talk about spending on teachers' salaries, I think the logical one is fell, not fell to, because fell to, it means that it fell to 5%. It's impossible. That would be very harsh. Yeah. So we can use fell by 5%. The temperature decreased until a low of 3 degrees. Okay. We see noun and we have number. Can we use of? Okay. Noun with of, we use it to talk about how much something changed. However, we see here that it decreased until. So we don't talk about the change, we talk about the level. Yeah. Okay, what do we use? Okay, what do you think? Yeah, a low of 3 degrees, because we use a noun, of course we use of 3 degrees. Now when we talk about the temperature decrease, do we use until? No. Yeah. When we talk about the decrease, we use to. Where's my cursor? Okay, there's my cursor. Yeah. We use this one. Decrease to a low of 3 degrees. During the period of blah blah blah. Okay. So, because we have and here, we don't use of, we use between. The profits experienced an increase. Okay. Can we say that? An increase by, increase is a noun here. No, we cannot use it. We can only use increase of. Yeah, increase of. Okay. I think that's all for the material from Unit 3. If you have any questions, yeah, just ask to me directly in the comment section, or yeah, if you're my students, you can just ask me in the group. Thank you all. Bye bye.